Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Funday, and I think we were originally going to try and get a Fighting with My Family review somewhere, but learned that hey, it's just a short preview, but we should have one out for next week. But hey, we only had one real major movie that came out this week, and that, of course, is Alita, Battle Angel, movie that has been in just production hell for years. To give anybody a clue on the backgrounds of this movie, it's originally supposed to be a James Cameron flick. It was supposed to be the next film he did after Avatar. That is how long this has been stewing. Nice way to put it. And Megan's just like, holy shit, that's a long time.
I don't remember when exactly Avatar came out, 2000 something?
2009, I want to say.
I want to say so too.
Yeah, or no, it came out the same. Yeah, it came out a year after Dark Knight. I got IMDb right here. Well, Megan's reaching for her phone, futilely. But yeah, so this movie has flip-flopped through different groups. It had
eventually 2009.
Charlie's awesome. So this movie is just, like I said, it's been switching back and forth between different directors, different actors have been tied to it, different scripts have been written for this, and always people are wondering, is it going to be faithful to the source material? Because those who do not know, this is based on the Alita Battle Angel, as you can guess, manga, or also anime, as many people. Although I think the manga is called like Gundam. It's like Gannm, and it's like there's not enough vowels there. It's bothering my brain. Neither here nor there. So we decided to go see this because we've actually since we go to the theater so often, we've been seeing trailers for this movie for so long. We were just finally happy to finally see the movie. Like, all right, hey, we finally got to see it. And I think I'm going to let Megan begin off because...
As always.
Yes, because she's beautiful. And also she doesn't know as much about mangas or anime as I do. Though I will admit that I am not as versed in Alita as I probably should be. Just because it's one of those more niche. Because it's very cyberpunky. It probably would be something I would like. Just I have never gotten as deep into Japanese cyberpunk as I probably should be. Call me weird, I can't help it. Yeah, if you want to know how old Alita, the manga and everything is, some of it helped to inspire The Matrix. That came out in 1999.
Wow.
And I just realized The Matrix is 20 years old. It's about to be able to drink. So, feel old yet, y'all? The Matrix came out when I was 12.
With The Little Mermaid turning 30 this year, I already feel old.
Yeah.
My favorite movie when I was a kid. I'm like, oh, God.
So, besides, life's impending doom and all of its wonders.
That's one step closer to the grave.
Yeah, and also I think you would probably be a lot more, or a lot less discerning of an opinion. You are the audience that this movie actually has to be proven to. Even though I know the anime fans, manga fans, all that, everybody thinks, oh, well, they need to make the movie for them. They do not need to make this movie for the anime manga fans. They just need to make it enough to where they're not going to piss them off, is what it is. And I'm going to get more into that here in just a bit. But
yeah, we've apparently heard that it's pretty faithful to source material, which I will say,
sorry.
I liked the movie. I think that worked a little bit to its detriment, the fact that it was so faithful.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how many volumes got compressed, or if this is the entirety of the manga compressed into a 2-hour-long movie. I think it's just a few volumes from what I was reading, because it's a little pick and choose some of the stuff that happens.
Yeah, I mean, only so much they can fit in there, and also, given the way it ended, yeah, I really hope it's not the whole thing.
Yeah, alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just put it this way. There's no way we're going to be able to talk about this movie without kind of spoiling it. Yeah, so to give you a long and short, real quick review of our opinions, I think we both can agree, middling. It's not terrible. There's that. It's not Dragon Ball Evolution. Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah. Yeah, there were things I liked about it, but...
It's a problematic film.
It has its issues.
Sorry, y'all, I'm getting over a little bit of a sickness, as you can always guess. Alright, so let's begin to dive into the plot, because one of the main issues that Megan and me have kind of been talking about, because we've had it ruminating, actually. Ruminating, would that be a good word? Whatever. Yeah. I've had it rolling in my brain for just at least a day, because we watched it yesterday. It's Saturday, today's Sunday. Watched it Saturday. And really, I was like, I'm glad we sat there and decided to wait another day. Because I think I've formulated my thoughts on it. Because originally I was like, my thoughts would have been so scatterbrained more than usual. Because the first issue you'll notice really bad about this movie, even though it's 2 hours, which 2 hours is not super long for a film, unless, it's not doing anything with its 2 hours, it's dense. Like, there's a lot of stuff to this movie. And that's the reason why it's hard to talk about this without beginning to spoil the film. Not that there's really a lot the trailers kind of haven't spoiled if you know anything about the background of this. Or once you watch it, you'll go, oh, well, the trailer showed this. Like, literally the trailer showed the last scene of the movie. Which is kind of weird. Her and her motorball.
Yeah,
she's sitting there pointing her sword up to the sky. It's like,
very triumphant.
Yeah, and it's like, alright, well, thanks. It's the end of the movie there. But if you didn't watch anything else beforehand, the anime that was released way back when, or read the original manga, you wouldn't know that. Or if you didn't watch the movie. So at least I'll give it that much. Like, it's not like the trailers really give it away, just... The long and short of this, this takes place in the year 2600, or actually 2563, I think is the exact year it gives us. 26th century, technically.
Yeah, something like that.
It's after what is called the Fall, which is where all these sky cities were mostly destroyed with the exception of this last one, Zalem, I believe is how it's pronounced, or Zalem.
Zalem?
Yeah, Z-A-L-E-M. In the anime, I want to say it's Salem is what it's called, or it's at least spelled that way. Might be pronounced Solemn. And I think they just mispronounced it because they're like, oh, shit, looks like a Z, because y'all pronounce it with a fucking Z. But yeah, it's the last city, and we are, for a while throughout the beginning...
Last Sky City.
Yeah, Last Sky City. And there's a city underneath it that is... It's also referred to, I think, as the Iron City or something like that.
Yeah, Iron City.
Yeah, and I don't think it's really... It might be given a name, but it's very infrequently referred to by its actual name. It's just called the Iron City. And the one thing that this movie has in spades, and Megan and me, I think, agree on this. It looks beautiful. It's just, it's a pretty movie to watch.
I mean, we saw in 3D.
Don't see it in 3D. It's
I think one of the movie trailers was saying that you have to see it in 3D or something. So I think just curious, like, see for ourselves. I don't think it really adds anything to it. There's no like 3D special effects really, and
here and there. But still, it's just stuff coming at the camera.
Well, I didn't notice that, but
I noticed a little. But that's the biggest problem with this movie is because I don't think it was shot supposed to be in 3D.
And another thing, it's not like with Ready Player One where the 3D really immerses you into this world and you really feel like you are a part of it. You really feel like you are like in the movie witnessing stuff firsthand.
Or like for the best movie that everybody can say also agreed it's great in 3D, Avatar. Mm-hmm. Sorry y'all, I might be moving a lot. Yeah, it's not that it's terrible in 3D, just it feels like an afterthought.
Yeah, it really adds nothing to it, so save money on that one.
Yeah, it looks pretty, but I mean, it's not terrible 3D, but I've seen better.
I would say it's not as pretty as Ready Player One.
Yeah, it's like hard to say. It's like, yeah, Ready Player One, Avatar. Wow, we've had two movies that have made 3D worth it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie, like I said, the actual set pieces look really good. Some people originally were kind of down or talking shit about Alita's original design. And I don't get that. It's like, is she supposed to be a cyborg? You knew she was a cyborg from the get-go. She's not a real person.
Yeah.
Though, once you see other people that are cyborgs, you kind of wonder why she's one of the few that looks so, lack of a better term, uncanny valley-ish. Sorry, y'all. Still clearing everything. But, that eventually kind of gets talked, or kind of forgotten about. I will say the actress who does her job, or does the voice for Alita, she actually does give her some kind of a character. She does at least provide something for her, even though some scenes are kind of odd. Mm-hmm. Try and get to it here in a second, but try to get in positive about how the movie looks. Because there are so many different little cyborg people, and there's different colors throughout it, thankfully there is quite a wide variety of colors. Though by the later part of the movie, a lot of it's very brown, a lot of browns and tans. What can you do? But at least with all these different characters, they all, for the most part, look very unique. And like I said, CGI is actually really good in this movie. There's not a whole lot of terrible places, or when it's supposed to be uncanny valley, such as with the really fake people, I think it works a lot better. There was, let's say it was a French film way back when. It had terrible CGI, but that was actually kind of the purpose. So that way you could distinguish the real from the fake people. This, it doesn't go quite as terrible as that French film, but this one does some. Sorry, y'all, I'm talking out my ass almost. Megan's like, I don't fuck know what he's talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about. That one movie that, who's it talking about?
Kyle Calgren.
Yeah. Had, not Anubis, but had like a...
It had Anubis in there. It had Anubis, Horus, I want to say...
Yeah, it's kind of like Matrix looking, but with like Egyptian gods or something.
It was weird.
Yeah, it looked weird. Like
somebody just downed a bunch of acid and was like, hey, let's throw mushrooms in there too. Nom 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 nom. But yeah.
And then at the end of Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah, it's like, I don't fucking watch anymore.
It's like, did someone slip me acid?
I think it's turning on me. Yeah, back to Alita. Besides the fact, like I said, just realize like we will not be talking any shit about how the movie looks. It looks really good. Mm-hmm. Pardon me.
Yeah, they did a good job on the effects.
Yeah. But your first person you get to be introduced actually to is Ido, played by Christoph Waltz. And I actually really like Christoph Waltz. I think he can either lend a whole lot of gravitas to a performance that really doesn't have need gravitas, or he can be the most delightful piece of ham you've had in a while.
I was like, he provides a bit of levity in some
scenes where I don't think that's the intent that was behind it.
They're trying to kill you.
Which one? All of them! It is Gary Oldman from Red Riding Hood. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger from Batman and Robin. It's so over the top at times, and so...
I mean, nowhere near as over the top as... Mr.
Not
Freeze from Batman and Robin, but it's...
It's close. There's a lot of points where it's like... I don't think that was the take y'all probably should have went with, because it's really goofy, and it's not meant to be as goofy as it is.
Yeah, usually that big thing he's carrying. Like...
Yeah... We need to talk about that eventually.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you learned that Ido, he is a pretty much robot repairman. He repairs cyborgs and all that. And he comes across Alita, gives her a body, and pretty much brings her back to life.
Yeah, gives her the body he was going to give to his daughter.
So that way, because his daughter was pretty much paralyzed.
Yeah, he's going to give her new legs, new body,
and daughter died through happenstance and stuff.
Yeah.
It just lets you all know, this movie is... Ooh, it's kind of lousy with exposition sometimes. It's like, oh my god, can we quit explaining everything? Can we just let some shit be?
Yeah, there's some stuff they don't really... they kind of leave us wanting more, or at least it left me wanting more.
Yeah, then there's some stuff that's like, okay, quit pounding me in the face with the explanations. I don't care. There is, like, some problems, like, there's all these cyborgs, but they really don't kind of explain why there are really this many cyborgs. It's like, well, there's cyborgs. I mean, I can get, like, there's one guy who obviously had an injury and he has a robot arm. Though, of course, none of it looks clean. It all looks like bad Lego building is what it usually looks like. And you really don't see but one actual person eventually become a cyborg in all essence. And that's a scene we're going to talk about here in a bit, because it's one real problem we have with the movie. Well, one of many. But it's one that really kind of bothers us.
Yeah, it's...
We'll talk about it in a bit.
I would say where they took the character. Just...
Yeah. But yeah, Ido, he's your exposition dump throughout most of the scenes. Like, he has to tell Alita about this and this and that. And it's like...
Yeah, it's pretty much through Alita that we are introduced to this world and its rules and systems that it has in place.
Yeah. Like, you learn there's no guns except for with the Centurions or anybody who is from Zalem, and they're not allowed to use them in the Iron City. I'm wondering if I mispronounce Zalem or Zalem or however. Every time, sorry. It's not a lack of don't give a shit. It's just that I swear I heard different characters saying it in different ways the entire movie. And I'm like, I don't know what the name of this place is. Savadabu. Float City. Let's just call it that.
Ramalama Ding Dong.
Yeah. Yeah, Alita, she's kind of doe-eyed, but to be fair, she doesn't remember anything about her past or anything like that. She ends up kind of crushing on this one guy, Hugo. Hugo, he's kind of the opposite of Christoph Waltz in terms of, you can have an actor who's overacting, you can have an actor who's underacting. Hugo's never bad, just he's woefully plain. That's his biggest downfall. It's like, nothing he ever does is enough to where you're like, oh, that was terrible acting. It's a lot of like, oh yeah, Hugo was just talking, I think.
But it was never really, like, spectacular, awesome, oh my god, that deserves an Oscar kind of acting either. It was just... It is what it is.
It's what you would expect on a CW show from a pretty good, actor who's like, shit, I guess I got contracted into this. Can I give 50%? Give 50%. Alright, cool, I'm going to give 50% on this. It's nothing bad, it's just nothing to write home about. And I think that's a big problem, because he's a good chunk of the movie, and he's just there.
Yeah, he's the love interest, so.
And Hugo has no real chemistry with Alita. That's a big problem as well. There are some kind of cute, tender moments, but it's just...
I thought they were cute together.
Yeah, but there's a lot that it's all because of Alita and nothing that Hugo is doing. He doesn't have that gravitas, none of that urgency. In fact, they try to give him this urgency because he's a bad boy, because he strips cyborgs for parts. This is brought up once, and this is something that he does for this other guy. His name is Vector, played by, I'm going to butcher his name, and I'm very sorry, Mashallah Ali. We best know him as Snake Eyes, Cottonmouth. From Luke Cage.
I was saying, like, no, Black Panther, what the...
Or those who also are watching him, he's just currently the detective on True Detective Season 3. I don't know.
He's also in Green Book with Viggo Mortensen.
Yes, he's also in Green Book, which he's probably going to get an Oscar for. Deserves it, probably. Because what I was saying, like, that was fantastic. That was awesome. And
I was saying, I want to see it. It just, we never got around to it.
It's just one of those, like, oh, well, we'll see it. Well, shit. Well, we could probably go see it there. AMC's doing a thing where we can get to see all the Best Picture nominees in a row for 8 hours. Hey, sorry, I have to ask Megan, so I can have a drink. I will say, he's actually pretty good with everything he's supposed to be doing. But...
yeah, he does make for a real good bad guy.
Yeah, but there's sometimes you can tell he's like, I don't care. It's not so much he's not giving all, he's always seeming to give his all, which is good. There's a lot of times, like, he's like, I expect him to be staring at the ceiling, just going, I don't fucking give two shits. Why am I here? Then we also have Jennifer Connelly. She's not quite as bad as she was in Labyrinth, so there's that positive
she's
thing.
She's come a little bit ways since Labyrinth, but...
You don't know how she won an Oscar still.
Yeah, considering she did that when she was like 13, 14.
Something like that.
And she's now, what, 40-something?
So I feel old now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, when it came out the year I was born.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she's... What's her character's name?
Shireen?
Yeah, something like that.
Or Shireen or something like that.
Her and Ido used to be husband and wife. She ended up... Or he, I guess, left her after the death of their daughter.
No, she left him after their daughter's death because she couldn't stand to be around him and around their home, reminded of their daughter. And so she wanted to go home to the...
She wants to go back up to Zong because that's where they're from.
But they were kicked out because of their daughter's illness.
That part was it seemed to flip-flop, like, for depending on the scene. Like, at one point was, it's because she was sick. Another, I think, was because, Ido wanted to come down to help people. Because Ido's a selfless kind of person. Which makes one particular turn they show about his character really odd. Eventually, there's just exposition, explaining about all this stuff. Mind you, it's like, we're just throwing characters at y'all. It kind of is what the movie does. Like, in the beginning bit, you're like, can I get a notebook or something so I can keep track of everybody?
Yeah, it's not just characters, it's also little bits and pieces about the society and how it works and who some of these people are and what they do.
And sometimes even character motivations and stuff like that.
Yeah, and when they're not throwing that at you, they're throwing these admittedly awesome action sequences, but you're never really allowed to breathe.
Yeah, like
even when Alita and Hugo are being cute, there's still something going on.
Yeah, it's like they don't really get a chance just to share that moment together. It's like...
just to be together, just be, two teenagers in love.
Yeah, there is always something happening. There's got to be something pushed forward. It's like, oh my God, movie, take a breath. And that's the problem. It's like, I know with my own reviews, I can be a little long-winded. And I need to take a breath, and I know it's like I need to give y'all a second to process it. But that is this movie in a 2-hour-long format continuously just throwing shit at you. Like, you eventually learn that Ido is also what's called a hunter warrior.
Basically bounty hunters.
Yeah, a bounty hunter. That brings up a crop of plot holes, actually. One, because Ido, he's a selfless kind of person. He doesn't seem to be doing it. It seemed like he wanted to do it simply because he wanted to avenge his daughter. He did explain that, and he did...
And he wanted to help other people not be victims.
Yeah, and... I get it. It's probably from the anime, him having this just big fuck-off hammer. It's as big as Christoph Waltz. But there's times like he's running around with it.
Or trying to sneak around.
Yeah, and it just looks so goofy. There's no way you can... It's like, could y'all give him a way to make it portable? That would make a little bit more sense. He does carry it in his briefcase, but he's got to put it together and sort of like screw it together. It's like, alright, I'm going to get you, bad guy. Let me just do this. It's like somebody crime hunting with a musket. Ah, damn it, I missed. I get you here. Shit, powder fell out. Yeah. I get you, Tim. There we go. There's nothing. Why, I broke her.
Yeah, just maybe think someone having to pause. And I was like, okay, just hang on seconds, let me put my weapon together.
I'm gonna do this real quick. Bad guys just sitting there like...
Just the comicalness of the situation. And also, they think there's one Harry Potter goofy little meme thing going around on Facebook where Voldemort tries to kill Harry as a baby and is having trouble with the baby king. It's like, you have to jiggle. It's like, I am jiggling. You know what, screw it, I'll just come back when he's 10. It's like... oh, I'm such a nerd.
Yeah, you are.
Takes one to know one.
Oh,
I'm feeling really silly and giggly right now.
right now?
Shush.
But yeah, like, I actually like the part when they finally introduce about Hunter Warrior, Star, Bounty Hunter, stuff like that.
So I'm the dog, the big bad dog, the bounty hunter. You know you love me.
Yeah, sometimes. But yeah, they decide to introduce this element, and it comes in like 30 minutes into the film. It's like, okay, well, this is going to be what's going to run the rest of it. No, that gets dropped after about 20 or 30 more minutes, and then we got Motorball for the rest of it. And it's like, what the hell, movie? Do you have ADD?
Hurts an extreme form of rollerball.
It's just regular rollerball almost without teams. Those who've ever watched the original or the remake, that I actually don't mind that much, even though if I say it's a piece of shit, it's like, I kind of enjoy it because it's a lovable train wreck.
Like me.
You're not a lovable train wreck, you're just lovable. Amazing, good save. But yeah, and the Motorball, also with the bounty hunting thing we're going to talk about here, it's like, but the Motorball stuff, like, it's neat, but it feels so out of character for Alita, and that's
yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, like it's a neat little thing to watch, but it's for the most part superfluous.
Yeah, especially since Alita kind of explains, she says, like, she wants to be a hunter warrior to help avenge people, because at one point she's kind of helping Ido, and she starts to regain some of her memories during a fight.
And she remembers that she was pretty much, Uranian? Mercurian?
Martian.
Martian.
She's an She was part of this other thing that was before the fall. Like I said, this movie's dense. There's so much exposition. There's so much crap. It's like, here's this. Here's that. Here's this thing.
Yeah, she's pretty much a Martian cop or soldier or something sworn to protect people.
Yeah, and she's...
And that really seems to be part of her character, wanting to help people, defend people, you know, maybe help get criminals off the streets, you know, which fits in with her being pretty much a bounty hunter.
Yeah, and she even, like, when she gets her bounty hunting thing, she wants to go get these her bounty hunters rallied together to help her.
The fight, Vector and his minions.
Yeah, which is one minion voiced by Jackie Earle Haley, strangely enough.
Yeah, I was like, interesting.
Yeah, but, like, that minion, what's his name? Barushka? Babushka. We'll call him Babushka. That sounds like a cool name.
Garishka?
Yeah,
I was just
Babushka.
past him.
Babushka. I'm going to call him. His name is Gurushka, but I'm going to call him Babushka because Babushka sounds funnier. But yeah, Babushka is, just as... He's made to be this intimidating bad guy. He never has any urgency throughout the entire film.
And the first thing he does is kill a dog off screen.
Yeah, and it's strange because Alita kind of has this little bond with him. He was being raised on the streets and stuff like that, and she kind of bonded with the dog. And she's kind of, I'm going to take his blood and do this. So you're really upset the dog's dead, because her reaction is just this.
I would say she doesn't do anything to stop the dog being killed.
She doesn't act surprised by its death or anything. It's like,
I would say previously she tried to save this dog from being crushed by one of those robot things. What the hell were they called? Sentinels?
Centurions.
Close enough.
Sentinels was from that other shitty movie. Sorry, I'm not saying the movie's really shitty. It's problematic. But yeah, and I don't know. It's like it might be a failing on the CGI there because she's kind of like frowny, anger, anime face. Not the real like like you almost expect. It's just stoicness. I'm Stephen Amell. I pooped my pants. Sorry, Stephen Amell's stoic face and his happy face are the same damn thing. Him and David fucking Atunga don't have emotions. Sorry, I'm mentioning wrestling now. But yeah, oh my god, it's weird is the best way to describe it. I know people are like, that's how it was in the manga or anything. But here's where I'm going to talk about being, consistent with the manga or consistent with the anime. Here's a point you might want to have changed it. Have her have more of a reaction. Or more importantly, like, this whole scene beforehand, like, she's like, I want y'all to join up and help me look for this guy. It's like, they already know that he's pretty much off the radar. It doesn't make sense that she would ask for their help to just find him. She should be threatening them, if anything, just out of pure anger over what he's done. Or give her more chances, like maybe she's been looking for him for a bit and keeps finding these other little bounties. Anything. It doesn't feel like we got there. It felt like it was 3 days after she was born. She suddenly now wanted to be a bounty hunter and wants to look for this guy, and talking to other bounty hunters like an idiot. That's the best way to describe it.
I will say it seems to be established pretty well with her character that she likes to help people. She likes to defend people. She's a champion of the people. And on top of that, she's badass, like you kind of see in the trailers.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome. But, yeah, the scene you were talking about, yeah, shortly after that, when she gets this new body, and then she's given the chance.
We have to call the body what it is. It is a Deus Ex Machina, literally dropped into the fucking plot. It is just this random thing that just happens to be her thing that she was looking for. Why is it just laying out in the middle of nowhere? Nobody's even thought to touch it. Especially when you learn about the major bad guy, which we're going to get into him here in a bit.
2 words. Edward Norton.
No. 4 words. White-haired Edward Norton. Which is weird.
Edward Norton is weird.
Yeah, it's true.
But, yeah, she's offered the chance to become a professional motorball player.
And she just...
And, yeah, she auditions, and it's like all the people that are auditioning with her are... Some are criminals, some are bounty hunters, but they're all trying to kill her.
Yeah, because they were told by Vector, Rashad Ali, that it's like he wants the head of Alita.
Yeah.
Or 500,000 credits to whoever can bring me the head of Alita. That scene that you've seen from trailers. And you learn it's this guy who's behind the scenes. His name is Nova. He's in Zalem. He's pretty much the controller of Zalem. Think of the architect from The Matrix, if I can mention it again.
Mm-hmm.
What's another movie? Think of Hugo Weaving from...
Mortal Engines.
Yeah, Mortal Engines.
We were just talking about this earlier.
Yeah, strange enough. He's just this background... Well, not even as good as Hugo Weaving. I would say a lot more like the architect from Matrix. Like, he's not really there. He kind of talks through people. It would have been one thing if he constantly felt a presence. And in fact, again, that's a problem of translations. Like, there should have been a little bit more of this. And it would have helped with more scene building. But again, this movie's just so dense. We gotta go from this to this, 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 this. And it's like, oh my god, movie, take a second to breathe. Like, legitimately, there was a point I really needed to use the bathroom in this movie, and I'm like, I'm afraid to get up because I know I'm going to miss something. Just because, again, this movie has so much going on. You have... Can I drink again, please? Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Coughing's not helping it. But you have... Thank you. The Hunter-Warrior stuff come up and kind of go real quickly. You have the rollerball not stuff.
Motorball.
Yeah, it's silly. Which, I mean, it looks cool. It admittedly looks really cool.
Yeah.
It feels superficial as hell, though.
I would say the audition sequence was well done. It looked awesome. And it was out of character singing for Alita.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like she's wanting to help people. She's wanting to protect people and defend them.
So like, she's going to become a pro football player?
Yeah, pro motorball player is like, well, at this point in the movie, why the hell does she care?
Well, see, how I kind of put it into real world scenario, it's pretty much like taking somebody who, wants to be a, actual soldier or anything like that, wants to fight for their country, wants to serve and everything, and instead of serving, you know what, I'm going to go play pro football. Yes, I know there's a pro football player that did serve, but I'm saying pretty much act like he never served and say, like, oh, well, he's such a good hero. It doesn't make sense to characters or anything. What's going on here? Yeah, character-wise, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it would have helped if
it was later in the movie.
Yeah, because eventually they realize the only real way to get back to Zalem is
to get to Zalem or Zealam, whatever, is to
Shlamalama Ding Dong.
Is to become the #1 world champion of motorball.
Yeah, and how they would, because you eventually learn that the head of Zalem,
Nova.
Pardon me, is a guy named Nova, Edward Norton. He is wanting to destroy Alita because she is an cyborg, I think. I don't know. That wasn't exactly very well explained. She is a cyborg, but it's like, is she an cyborg or was she made into a cyborg? Again, never 100% well explained, nor is it explained how she got there. She just happened to be there. It's like, was she sitting there for hundreds of years and nobody has noticed her? Amazing. You bring up a point, but I will admit that's a bit nitpicky.
Yeah, it's mentioned that she's 300 years old.
Yeah, she predates the war. Because she was part of the original group that was trying to kill Nova. Never really explained how they didn't win, because it's like, but Solemn had no ships and y'all had an entire fleet. What the hell happened?
And that's another thing. If those events in the flashbacks happened 300 years ago,
mm-hmm.
Nova, he was they were trying to go after Nova,
mm-hmm.
specifically, and yet Nova is still alive 300 years later.
Yeah, he's harvesting human body parts. That's kind of something that's partially explained in a quick thing. It's like, well, wait, hold on, back up, movie.
And what I think a scene is supposed to imply that Jennifer Connelly got killed.
Yeah, really off screen.
Yeah, you see her head towards elevator door opens, see the dark figure in the elevator.
It's Babushka.
Yeah. And then it cuts away and presumably she's been killed.
Yeah. Just her brain and hands for some reason.
I think that was supposed to be her brains. I don't know about the other body parts.
It looked like her hands, her eyeballs, and her brain. I'm like, did she get good hand jobs? I mean, what? Huh? Oh.
Yeah, apparently Nova keeps the body parts of people that fascinate him and have them sent up to
Zalem.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the whole fact of her trying to get to be the #1 motorballer to be able to make it to Zalem has its own set of problems right then and there. It's like, well, why wouldn't Nova try and stop her then? But also, it's like, her trying to become a motor baller, it's like, why would she immediately do this when she's trying to become a bounty hunter when, as far as she knows, money can do it? And from just a regular old bounty, it's like 20,000 credits. So if the belief is, because Hugo is keep like, I just need 1,000,000 credits, I can get to Zalem. Even though it's never explained why he thinks this. I guess it's something that Vector told him, maybe? I don't know.
I would say presumably he needs to buy his way up to Zalem. Or Zealand.
Everybody saying it differently. But it's like, okay, if she just needs that, she just needs to get 50 criminals. Not really that hard. Especially considering she, like, at one point is looking through his bounty list, and there's just tons of people. And it's like, she could get 1,000,000 credits in probably a decent week for her.
Yeah, there's like 20,000, 40,000, I would say like 50,000 credits for some of these guys.
Yeah, and most of these people are pretty highly valuable, and obviously some of them are normal humans because at one point Hugo gets put on in. And that's where we actually begin to have a lot of problems with this movie in terms of, I'm pretty sure it's original to the anime or to the manga.
Yeah, I was like, I have a feeling it's faithful to the source material. That's like one of the ways that it's faithful. I really wish they hadn't been so faithful in this particular instance.
Yeah, in all essence, Hugo gets a guy to lie that, he's the reason why this guy died. He murdered him.
This other bounty hunter is Japan, played by Ed Screen or Screen.
The best way...
Ajax from Deadpool.
Yeah, that's the best way. Actually, what was his name actually in Deadpool? Clarence or something?
Yeah, Clarence.
It's something like that. Florence, it's... Clarence, I can't remember. Go ahead. Femme famille woman.
Yeah, you kind of see him get his ass kicked by Alita in the bar in the trailer. Yeah, he... Okay. I think, did we mention that Hugo was involved with selling body parts?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that a little bit, and it's like...
Yeah, he and his crew were part of it, and as Alita is auditioning for the motorball thing, he decides to go to his friends, and while they're in the middle of harvesting this one guy's parts, goes to tell them, hey, we need to stop doing this, and also, hey, by the way, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore, it's wrong. I'll find other ways to make money. And as he's doing this, the bounty hunter you see in the trailers, Japan, comes along and kills the guy they're harvesting and says... Basically...
Francis is his name?
Yeah, Francis. Yeah, basically frames Hugo for murder.
Yeah, and that... Right there was one problem. It's like, okay, well, he murdered him. He even Francis cuts a dude's head off with a sword. It's like, Hugo doesn't have a
special sword.
Yeah, special sword. Which literally they all but pronounce the race that Alita is at times. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's not a way I would pronounce it. I wouldn't pronounce it like you're squeezing out a big turd. She's trying not to break.
Oh, let me think of something else, but I'll tell you later.
But, yeah, he kills this guy. It's like, he did it. I think it would have been a little bit better if, the guy had already was shown being controlled by Nova. That would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
If Nova was controlling it, it's like you would see, otherwise it's just this guy who's just being a dick just to be a dick.
He's just pissed that Alita embarrassed him in the bar by kicking his ass and breaking his nose. His pretty face.
Yeah. Poor Francis.
Yeah, he's just pissed off about that and taking it out on her boyfriend. It's like, that's very stupid motivation.
Yeah. And just to say, again, like, the reason why I think Nova should have been, kind of controlling him a little bit. I know some people are like, that's not how the manga did. It's like, I know that might not have been something that happened in the manga, but then it gives Alita a lot more reason to be more pissed off at freaking what's his
Nova.
Nova, especially considering eventually Francis stabs Hugo and pretty much leaves him to die. Alita gets sad, though at first they had to have the almost requisite, "Oh, you did something I didn't like. Ah, I can't believe you."
It's like, no, like, I've done bad things, but I didn't do this one bad thing he's accusing me of.
Yeah, and I don't know why they even had that there. Again, maybe it's to the original thing, but again, it's okay if we change some things to make something a little bit better. The story a little bit tighter. We just got to tighten it up. Sorry. Well, Valentinic. And if they had let Francis kill Alita, or not Alita, kill Hugo, and Hugo stays dead, that would have give Alita, first off, a really good chance to be even angrier at Nova. If, Francis is being controlled by Nova.
I mean, like, every other bad guy in this movie was controlled by Nova. It's like, why not?
Yeah, just make him being controlled by Nova. It's like, just show even more that Nova is just an unbelievable dick.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if he was part of the conspiracy, but no. Okay, it's like, that's the direction you want to take us, I guess.
Instead, Francis is just a dick.
Mm-hmm.
But
pretty boy dick.
Where we'll quickly just say what or I think I'm him too, because I'm not trying to talk too much over my beautiful wife here. But the one thing we thought would have been really cool, we kind of been talking about, is if, hey, that happens. That gives Alita some urgency to want to try and fight him, and then maybe she tries to, fight against Francis, probably kills him or horribly maims him, fights Babushka again, horribly maims him, ends up killing Vector, and she's trying to get up this thing to avenge Hugo, and she realizes there's no way to get up to Zalem. Like, there's just not only guards, but there's traps, everything. Pretty much think of the Capitol from the Hunger Games movie in Mockingjay Part 2.
Well, you're half right.
Yeah, I was there. I just had a J, or should have went with the J instead of a bird. Because bird was not the word. But that would have given Alita more urgency, we both believe, to want to pursue Motorball more vigorously. At least, go ahead.
I was going to say, and also, they save Hugo, giving him a
cyber body, because pretty much it cut his head off, and the rest is left to die.
First, make everyone think that he's dead.
Yeah, not only that, because since there was a bounty on his head, it's like, Leah's like, hey, look, here's his head.
Here's his head. Totally don't mind the fact that it's connected to me and my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Here's his head. I claim the bounty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye at 209s. I was like, we're totally at 209s. But yeah.
Take him to Ito or Ido and gives him a cyber body. Only he then has to go on the run. Hugo does. And he ends up tearing the body shreds anyway and dies. That was a waste of my time. And
yeah, it's like 10 minutes after that, literally. Like, after Hugo gets his head beheaded, Brain was like, shit. His head taken off. Let's just put it that way.
After he gets beheaded.
Yeah, there we go.
Off with his head!
He's completely killed after he falls off because, you can't make it to Zalem. Why? Why did that need to be? Just let Hugo have died there. It's like...
Yeah. And it also... Saving Hugo is also part of Jennifer Connelly's redemption arc, which I didn't need. I didn't care. She had nefarious written all over her from the second she stepped on set. It's like, I don't freaking care.
If pretty much she's doing that. Twirling her vagina mustache.
Yeah, I was like,
Sorry. Bad image I just got there.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she's up to no good.
And worst off, she's just there.
And trying, suddenly humanize. I don't freaking care at this point.
Yeah, they could have had anything else try to humanize her. or just leave her alive. It's like, it didn't add anything to her. The fact she was dead was not a shock value. Hell, we didn't really even care. That's the worst part.
So, you know what I'm saying? It's like her body parts, or at least her brain and the. I just don't know, it's the body parts of other people as well. He was.
Here's Lexington Steele's penis.
All right.
Well, they kept. What was his name from? Frickin' Anastasia. What was the wizard? The evil bad guy. What was his name?
Rasputin.
Yeah, Rasputin. They kept his penis pickled, so I mean, there's that. I know weird, stupid facts about things I probably shouldn't know anything about. Hey, Rasputin had nearly a foot-long cock. He's allowed to have it pickled.
Yeah, that was the thing you said. You were looking up one day, like just kind of stumbled across it. What was it at work?
Oh yeah, I was just like, I was wondering about the line from the epic rap battles of history, why they kept making a big deal about, Rasputin having a big dick, and I'm like, oh, he had a 12-inch dick. Well, supposedly, it's like, when somebody actually did, like, that's the reason why I also wonder why they say he pickled his moose cock, I'm like, oh, they actually really did do that. Like, Russians are weird. Russians like watching these videos too, so hi, Russians. But yeah, and after Hugo dies, it kind of fast forwards, I guess a year or so.
3 months.
Yeah.
And she's the motorball champion, getting ready to ascend to Selim.
She just needs to win this last race.
Yeah, just holding her sword, aloft, triumphant, and...
Movie ends.
Well, you see Edward Norton as Nova. He takes all these goggles, like, that Edward Norton?
Yeah, at first I was like, is that the dude from... No, that's Edward Norton, okay. It's not this movie is terrible. Like, we were really kind of shit-talking this a bit. That guy I feel bad about.
It has its issues. Some things really should have been left out. Some things should have been moved around.
Some things should have been expanded on that they never really did, or...
Some storylines and scenes should have been shortened or elongated, or...
anything. Just, honestly, the biggest problem we could see easily with this movie, this probably should have been a series on, like, Netflix or Hulu.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that end scene is trying to set up for a sequel that's probably not going to get. I'm sorry, but...
I mean, I loved, Mortal Engines, and I admit it's like it almost could have had a sequel, but at least they set it up in a to where it's like, it doesn't have to have a sequel. Well, it's like the movie's done. It's like there doesn't have to be any more, even though I know that's like the first book of the 3 books, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well, no trilogy.
Yeah, I want to say so. Here, clearly, there's no closure here. There's not enough. It's like, hey, there's something here. It's like, oh, okay.
Almost as bad as the movie Every Day. We're just...
It's like, oh, well, here it ends.
Like,
Thanks.
no real closure or anything. So just done.
Yeah, and like I said, there is some good parts to it. The young lady who plays Alita, she does do well with most of the material. The CGI looks really good. The action, it's crisp. It does what it needs to do very well. I just wish the movie would... Damn, if it needs another run through the script mill. It's just, it's too dense.
Yeah, it's pretty, and... I don't know, would you say it has too much substance?
Yeah, I think this really should... Like I said, either this need to have been split more apart, or we should have had a series just so that way we could give us a little bit more breathing room. You never get a... That's one of the problems with this actually being really pretty is like we never get a chance to just breathe it in for a bit, take in the world as much as we can, because we gotta move to this, so we gotta go move it here, we gotta do here. This plot element comes up, this thing is like, oh my god, sit still. It's ADD the movie. I mean, the editing's fine. That's another thing. It's like, it's not like a movie where it's like, hey, let's chop up 14,000 edits in 5 minutes. Like, oh god.
Yeah, I would say the action is, like, zoomed out enough you can see what's going on, but still close enough to really get a
Feel for what's happening.
really get a sense of like urgency and you feel what you're supposed to feel.
Yeah, I wish the movie would zoom itself out a little bit. It's like, all right, let's breathe. It's like somebody who's sitting there trying to tell you their life story in 5 minutes, and it feels just as exhausting by then. Because by the end of this entire film, it's not that I was like, oh, bored with it, but I was just like, oh my god, thank goodness. It's like, this movie was wearing me out. So, now that you have had us spoil the ever-living piss out of it, we have to give a score for this. What would you give Alita as its final score?
As much shit as we've been talking about, like I actually did like this movie. I didn't love it, but I liked it. As much as I want to give it a 7, I don't know if I can justify it being that high. So I'm going to give it a 6.
I was originally kind of floating near a 6. I think with as many issues that I did have with certain characters, especially what they decided to eventually do with Hugo. Such a waste of him as a character. Well, sweet, he's a pointless character. I'm going to give this movie a 5. It's right in the middle of the road. It's like, this movie has a lot that it could have done so much better. What it does good, it does great. But what it does bad, it does terrible at. Though, again, I think we can agree, no matter how bad Christoph Waltz was acting, he was still fun in this movie the entire time.
Yeah.
Big hammer, dude.
All of them!
All of them!
It's like just sense of urgency. Just like, it's like, I don't know, it's just very comical to me.
Yeah, it's just the funniest damn thing ever. And it was not meant to be funny, it was meant to be very dramatic. It's like, I think we were both laughing at that line.
I'm going to kill you!
I'm going to get you, Barbara. Oh, I broke her again.
It's made me think of the, oh my god.
Yeah, very much. Oh, but now that Megan is broken and snorting.
See what you made me do.
I didn't do anything. But we'll be back next week, though. Maybe Megan will still be laughing.
Oh, I will say that I don't know that I recommend seeing this movie in theaters, but I think I think a lot of people should see this. It's just, I think maybe wait until it comes out.
I would wait to see if there's going to be a director's cut. Maybe that helps the spacey scenes out. Maybe helps to add a little bit more actual context to certain things. Because, like I said, this movie is just, it's a little too much. It's too much movie, which is weird to say.
The movie's too much.
Yeah. So, hey, anime fans and manga fans, I'm pretty sure you're going to love this, but sorry, Alita Battle Angel's very middle of the road. It could have been so much more. And it's like, and let's admit, it's like, it doesn't always have to be 100%. Because if we make Dance in the Vampire Bund, I would like for it not to be an 11-year-old that they're trying to sexualize. But hey, we'll be back next week. Hopefully with a fighting with my family, but at the very worst, we're going to go and finish off the trilogy. And we're going to see How to Train Your Dragon, Secret World. So until then, everybody, we'll see y'all there. So, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.